Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Proline NFL NBA show. We're going to go through some prop bets coming up on the Super Bowl 48 this Sunday. Plus, we got some NBA news and notes. First, we got a couple of red-hot handicappers here. World champion handicapper Jim Feist in Las Vegas, and Jeff Sauter runs Las Vegas Sports Services. I'm John Cran. I'm going to run through these right now. But first, Jim, You're 8-0 in the NFL in playoff totals. You have a package going this weekend that's going to include your call on the Super Bowl total as well as some college basketball.
Yeah, well, I've been doing very well in pretty much all sports right now. I was 7-3 in college hoops last Saturday, including my MAC game of the year with Akron. I had a 4-0 sweep with my high rollers. I got a six-pack this week. College basketball, I got 6 plays, including 2 conference games of the year, my NBA mismatch game of the year, and my Super Bowl total. Like I said, I'm on a great run with those. 6 big hoop winners, 1 NFL, $400 online, but you can get it for $29 by making a phone call to 1-866-841-1655. That's 1-866-841-1655.
Mr. Vegas has an introductory special for people. Here's what you get. $25. You get his call on the Super Bowl side and total. You get 3 big prop bets going on the Super Bowl. Plus, you get 4 weeks of basketball action the entire month of February, NBA and college. 4 weeks of action. All this for $25 from Mr. Vegas. 1-866-896-1627. Jeff, you had a phenomenal weekend with basketball 9-3, also a 33-13 NFL run. Sorry to see that football season goes, but how can people avoid LVSS for the next couple months?
Well, you can get college and NBA all the way through the March tournament into early April. Plays every day for a grand total of only $39. Just call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916. I just did a 33-13 NFL run. I'm on a 27-9 college basketball run. So don't miss out. Call LVSS 1-866-575-8916. Play into early April. It plays every day for only $39.
Okay, we're going to take a look at some NBA defense as well as some Super Bowl props that are coming up. First, we'll go to our Twitter question of the week. This is how you can get involved. You can just Twitter us at Jim Feist Sports or go to Facebook at Proline TV. If you use your question, any of the Proline panel, you'll be put in a drawing to win $100 of plays of any handicapper of your choice. This week's question, how long have prop bets on Super Bowls been around? Well, a brief history of these prop bets is that they kind of started in the mid to late 1980s as something small. In the early 90s, it grew as a volcano. And the reason was we had a long stretch where there was these blowouts in Super Bowl games. One-sided games in the 80s, pretty much the whole decade. And then in the early 90s, there were a lot of blowouts. And what happened is people would come into the sports books to buy drinks and food and watch the game. Well, the second half would start, and it was a blowout, and they'd start to mingle out. And a lot of the sportsbook directors and the casino people were saying, well, how can we keep people from leaving in the third quarter? So they started to introduce some prop wagers, and it kept people around at the end of the game. And now it's just taken on a life on its own, and it's become a major thing, Jeff.
Well, yeah, as you said, it started in the late 80s, and then around 1995, there was a prop. Would Michael Jordan score more points than one of the teams, and that got nationwide publicity, and that's when it really exploded. It took off, and the combination of that and having closer games made it sometimes more popular than the game itself. And right now we have about 350 to 400 props every week, every year. So it's just sometimes. When you watch the game, every single play is important because you might have a prop on how many yards, how many receiving yards, how many rushing yards, and it just keeps you interested all the way through the end of the game. It's great for the advertisers because even though the NFL would never admit it, the people will stay to the end of the game and watch all the commercials, even in a blowout, because they have all these prop bets. So it's really taken off. And if you come to Las Vegas, and you go into the sports book, you'll find booklets of all these props, and if you have the time, you can go through every one, but it takes a while to go through each one. That's pretty much when it exploded. Was in the mid 1990s, John.
Yeah, it really is an event. When they're going to release the prop lines, there's a buzz around Vegas. Come on, are they out yet? Can we get a copy and see where the lines are? And the reason is you've got a side and a total on one game, and the odds makers have a couple weeks, so they're not going to make major mistakes on the game. It's easier. But with these prop bets, there are hundreds of them, so if you're searching for soft numbers or winning action, the edges are really, for the Super Bowl, on a lot of these prop bets. You have a better shot with some of these. Okay, in fact, we're going to go through a couple of props. Jim, you see any out there that you can give out to the viewers for free?
Well, when you talk about these props, it's overwhelming to study them. That's for sure. It's 400 different items that you have to study and think about the ramifications of what goes on in the game and the style of game. Here's one. Will the game be tied after being 0-0? I have no idea. I have no idea. If you can't predict something logically, then I have. Now here's one that says in total net yards, both teams under 702. I'd have to say under that. We're dealing with some potential adverse weather conditions, and it's supposed to be windy. The current prediction is 15 miles an hour. So if that's true, the 15 miles an hour is not tremendously bad, but there could be gusts involved in that, and it could get worse. And you're probably looking at an under there, 702 yards. It's not that much, 350 yards a team, but I think you're probably looking at under. It's not a big favorite for me, but that would be one that I would look at.
One that I see is the punt by Seattle's John Ryan. Will it go over or under 41.5 yards? Now, here's a prop where it doesn't really matter the strength of the kicker's leg. You don't have to look at that at all. To win the bet, it's more about field position, where the team is going to be when they're punting for the very first time. Because any punter in the NFL, they can boom a punt 50 yards or more, especially in their own territory. It's when you get to the opponent's 35 or 48-yard line, that's where you have to consider, are they going to kick it in the end zone? Are they going to try to drop it in around the 10? That's where this 41.5 comes in. So what you want for a prop like this is the team to be punting from its own territory, its own 30, 40. And so what that means is, can you find a team that's going to go 3 and out? Well, I kind of would lean towards Seattle here because they have a more conservative offensive game plan, especially the last month as Pete Carroll has kind of put a little bit of the reins on Russell Wilson, basically to saying, my defense is going to win the game. I don't want my quarterback to mess it up. So seeing Seattle, especially in cold weather like this, going 3 and out early or going on a 15-yard drive and then having to punt first, well, that's going to leave a lot of room for John Ryan. I have no doubt he'll be able to boot it more than 41.5 as long as he's in his own territory. Jeff, do you see anything that stands out?
Well, here's a prop. The first score of the game will be a TD, or will it be any other score? If you bet any other score, you can get a plus 150 on that. Any other score, of course, field goal or safety. And here you have two defenses that have been good in the red zone during the playoffs. Seattle has been a dominant unit that's been great all season. On offense, Seattle's run-oriented. They haven't scored more than 27 points in the last 6 games. Seattle's first 2 playoff games began with a field goal. One of Denver's playoff games did. So this prop is 3-1 with these two teams in 4 playoff games. So if you look at one prop, it would be play the first score of the game to be any other score than a touchdown. You get that at plus 150, Don.
Okay, here's another one. The first reception by Denver tight end Julius Thomas under 9.5 yards. He's a safety valve for Peyton Manning. You get Demarius Thomas, Eric Decker, and Wes Welker. Their jobs are to flood the zone. And Seattle coach Pete Carroll loves to bring pressure, especially early in games. So I can see a situation where he's bringing the blitz, and Julius Thomas is the safety valve, as a quick slant or a quick out. And these Seattle linebackers are very good in pass coverage after facing weak defenses. Denver has in the Patriots, Raiders, Texans, and Chargers twice the last 5 games. Denver's really stepping up to face an elite defense over here. So I can see a quick slant to the tight end. So play Denver tight end Julius Thomas under 9.5 yards. Jim?
I have something here. Total third down conversions by the Broncos over 5. Now it's even money. Denver, it says right here, Denver has been the greatest offensive in NFL history, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Peyton Manning had 55 touchdowns, 10 picks. He's got great wide receivers. He's got Welker. When you think about this total number of third down conversions by Denver, over 5, it seems easy. And you'd say, well, God, you get a whole game? How many third down conversions to turn them into first downs? But the thing that tips me off here is it's even money, which means the under is the favorite. So, and there's a lot of sharp people out there betting these things. The under is the favorite. That's kind of a tip to me that even money over 5 is a sucker bet. So I'm not saying you should bet the under, but it's not when they're making the under favored on an offensive team, because the public likes betting offense. Somebody out there put some serious money on the under.
All right, let's take a look at the NBA now. What we're going to try to do is to tie in NBA defense and how that influences spread tendencies with several teams. Jim, we're going to start with you. What do you see out there?
Well, the LA Clippers have, emerged as a pretty good basketball team. They got a head coach that came out of Boston, Doc Rivers. He's been around a long time. They're 6th in field goal shooting defense, 4th in defending the 3. However, this is an up-tempo team. They're 3rd in offense. Matter of fact, just that they played at Toronto, a great defensive team, and the score was 126-118 in LA victory. They play strong defense, and they have an up-tempo offense, a very dangerous team. They got this J.J. Redick and Jamal Crawford filling in for Chris Paul while he's out. They're 10-1 over the total on the road, 35-17 over the total after they score 100 points in a game. LA is a very dangerous team. You have to look, when you look at them, you got to think of them as a good defensive ball club with a lot of offensive potential. That makes them very dangerous, especially on the road. They're actually 8-3 ATS run on the road right now.
I want to take a look at the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a team that really has turned a corner defensively the last few games, over an 8-game stretch, allowing 91 points per game and just over 41% shooting. What they have is a healthy Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph in the low post. These guys have been blocking shots sensationally the last few weeks. That covered a stretch where they went 6-0 under the total. And look at it this way, at home, they play phenomenal defense. When they face a bad team when they're playing at home, or a team with a road winning percentage of under 40%, Grizzlies are 14-5 under the total. If you're going to go out on the road, you really need good defense on the road to be competitive, especially against good teams. Keep this in mind with Memphis. When they're on the road, playing a team with a home winning percentage of better than 60%, simply put, a really good team playing in their home venue, their defense is phenomenal, 4-1 under the total, stepping it up. So there's some total trends to keep in mind with Memphis, Jeff, and it pertains to the under.
Yeah, how about the Sacramento Kings? They don't play hardly any defense at all. They allow 104.8 points per game, 28th in the NBA, 47% shooting. The defense allows 40% shooting. They have the second worst three-point shooting defense, allowing almost 39% beyond the arc. That's a breakdown of coaching and in players not really caring about defense. Sacramento, therefore, 19-7 over the total. They don't play D at home or on the road. They had an 8-2-1 run over the total on the road. After a spread loss, 14-2 over the total. All the trends go toward over the total with the Kings. So not a team to back off under the total unless they make some changes there in the way they, unless they make some coaching changes, the way they look at defense and approach defense, John.
Okay, very good. Let's run through what we have going this weekend. Mr. Vegas, you can get the Super Bowl side and total. You get 3 big prop bets, and you'll play NBA and college hoops right through February, 4 weeks. All this from Mr. Vegas for $25. 1-866-896-1627. Jeff, you got a terrific weekend with college basketball, 9-3 actually with all plays, and you had that 33-13 NFL run. How can folks get aboard Las Vegas Sports Services?
Well, you're going to get the rest of NBA and college basketball all the way through March, early April. Plays every day, $39. Just call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916. I'm on a 27-9 run in college basketball, 33-13 in the NFL, a 9-3 weekend. Don't miss out. LVSS 1-866-575-8916.
Jimmy had that 7-3 college Saturday, perfect 4-0 with the high roller plays. And speaking of perfect, with your NFL playoff totals, 8-0, and you have a play on the Super Bowl total coming up as part of a Saturday package.
Very excited this weekend, John. I mean, I got some big plays coming up in all sports. This is a great package, 6-pack, college basketball, 6 plays, including 2 conference games of the year, my mismatch in the NBA, mismatch game of the year, and my Super Bowl total, all for $29. You'd have to pay $400 online for this, $29. Just call 1-866-841-1655. That's 1-866-841-1655.
Well, I know, Jim, you were at the Super Bowl in Miami a few years ago when it was the last one where there was raining. If you're going to be going to this one this weekend, are you going to be bringing 2 coats?
I've been to 11 Super Bowls, and I guarantee you I will be passing this one.
I'd be at the sportsbook watching. All right, everybody, enjoy the Super Bowl, the big games, and enjoy the college basketball and NBA weekend. And we will see you next week for Jim Feist, Jeff Sott, and John Cranton in Las Vegas. We'll see you next week with another edition of Pro Line.